But we found out very quickly you can't do centralized crypto lending. Like, it is impossible, even today, to run a business where you accept collateral, like accept Bitcoin, and then give someone money for that Bitcoin. And you're asking yourselves, like, well, why is Howard saying that? There's BlockFi, there's Nexo, there was Celsius. What we discovered, and we got this whole consortium together in SoCal, made up of like some of the top consumer lending minds in the industry, and we dry erased it. And we were like, look, to be a borrower, can I describe why centralized lending doesn't work right now?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, good. So it's super simple. It's still a problem. It won't work for years. So if you have your money with a centralized lender, you should get while the getting's good. My 2 cents. Do your own research. The reason is this. The demographic of the average US borrower that would borrow against their crypto is an 18 to 45-year-old male with an average of $50,000 to $60,000 of debt, most of which is college student loan debt, $10,000 less today for some of them, that is already at a low rate. So like the use case for borrowing money is either because you need a large one-time expense to cover, or you're consolidating. So you're not going to consolidate here. So the people that fit that box. Oh, and then on top of that, typically you can only borrow up to 50, 60, 75% loan to value, meaning I put up $100 of Bitcoin to borrow $75 of cash. So the few people that have the 20,000 plus of Bitcoin to really qualify for this type of product, it would cost you an arm and a leg to market to those folks. And the marketing cost, the acquisition cost, has to be recovered in the interest rate you charge. And we figured out that just the acquisition cost on a $20,000 to $40,000 loan, meaning that the borrower would have to hold 35 to 50,000 in Bitcoin, is probably like 9 to 10% right off the top. You have about a 5% origination cost, just overhead for servicing. And then most lenders don't use money out of their own pocket because it's too expensive. They go and borrow it. Well, for me to borrow the money to make the loan, they don't care that it's over collateralized. They think it's over collateralized with vapor paper, with Bitcoin. So they're going to charge me like 10%. So when you take the cost of capital for a centralized lender to get cash, the cost to acquire, the cost to originate, you're talking mid to high teens for an over collateralized loan. If you have that much Bitcoin, you could walk into a Wells Fargo or a Chase and get an unsecured loan for 7 and 9%. So the economics don't jive unless you gamble with the borrower's collateral. And that's exactly what BlockFi does. It's exactly what Celsius was doing. It's what Nexo does, all these centralized folks. So the minute we heard that, and this goes back to our origin story, the minute we sat down with these guys and they're like, you don't have a business unless you're going to gamble with people's security interest, and you do not want to do that or you go to jail when things go sideways. He's like, it doesn't work. And so we actually put pencils down for a year to figure out what we would do next.
That actually makes a lot of sense and kind of makes me worried on some aspects, but I'm not going to go down that route quite yet.
No worries.